What's going on, family? Y'all already know who it is. Kasim here at Black Power Rise. You know, before I even get started, let me tell y'all something that I want to share with you guys. You know, I ran into a friend of mine, and me and my boys was out yesterday, and of course I'm with my daughter, but we was at a barbecue. So anyway, I run into an old friend, and she says, "What's up, Tyson?" And then it's like, "You still knocking people out?" And like bringing up my past. First, let me say your past doesn't define who you are in the present. So I said to her, kindly responded, "That's the problem. You're stuck in the past. You see, God moves forward, and that's how I'm been moving forward, everyone. And that's something you have to do. So trust God, trust the process. That's something I had to learn. That's something even like one of my characters had to learn in one of my favorite books that I've ever written, in my 12 books that's out now, which is Year of the Gentleman. Shout out to my boy Antoine Trammell. I talked to them guys last Monday, but for those that don't know, this is Year of the Gentleman, you guys. I got you, Ant. At the same time, I've already written a film to Year of the Gentleman. So I'll be getting the funding for that, at least trying to raise funds for that, but that's another topic. So as I said, you guys, trust God and trust the process. So speaking of Stefan, let me tell you guys about this character. He, first of all, after working hard, you know, in corporate America, once he got laid off, it took him time, but he was determined not to move back in with his mother because for whatever reason. At the same time, you guys have to understand he had willpower. At the same time, he had a goal, everyone, and he moved forward. He didn't get mad at the situation that happened with him. He decided to start what's called Real Creations. So family, let me tell you something straight, because y'all know I always keep it real here at Black Power Rise. Success isn't built on man's trust. Not at all. You know, the Bible talks about not to depend on man. And because God, your Father, wants you coming to Him for approval, or He wants you praying to Him, not to rely on man. Success is built on God's plan, everyone. This is why I came up with this quote, like, trust the process. It's something I had to learn, and it's something all of you are gonna have to learn. And at the same time, if you know it already, pass it along to others, because that's what I'm doing here at Black Power Rise. And sometimes, you know, the best way to tell the truth is through a story. So as I said earlier when I was talking about my boy Stefan from my book Year of the Gentleman, I'm gonna tell you guys just a little, and then I'll put the link in the description. At the end of this video, you can see the link in the description. But let me tell you guys about Stefan and Year of the Gentleman. You know, family, sometimes the best way to tell the truth is through a story. So I'm gonna share with you guys about my character Stefan, one of my characters who I love, again, out of my 12 novels. No, I did not see this coming when I first started with that first novel. And no, I did not see me coming up with other things that I'm involved in now. But at the same time, let me tell you guys about Stefan and Year of the Gentleman, this book. You know, his journey is a reflection on most people, because like myself also, but his reflection and his will to survive out here and to keep fighting, it's a reflection on how most of us are. Because you got to keep fighting. Exactly. Go to God at the same time. Not just when you want something, but talk to him. I've always said that. He's always out there waiting to hear from you. Because he's our Father, everyone. So, as I said, let me tell you guys about Stefan. Stefan, he had ambition and vision. Remember, I always talk about faith and then vision and your mindset, everyone. He had that in him. That's how Real Creations got started, people. Read that book, Year of the Gentleman. Not just because I wrote it. Yes, at the same time, I think it's a book that will inspire everyone, because it has inspired those that have read it. Also, I even put in the reviews to show you guys that I'm not just saying that just to say it. So, Stefan's journey, at the same time, he put a bit too much trust into people. This is why I just said relying on man is not what God wants. Stefan, he learned not to put his trust in man. This is why I said you got to put your trust in God and not man. He learned to build something that's gonna last. You have to put your trust in God. Build something for the next generation. You have to put your trust and your faith in him. You have to have that vision also. After you have your faith, after you pray to him, you have to have that vision also, everyone. And that goes for everyone watching this. At the same time, hit that like and subscribe button. It helps the channel here at Black Power Rise. In this book, Year of the Gentleman, Stefan, just like some of us, we're not born into wealth. He had a vision, and he created a path for others also. So what I'm saying to you, that's what you have to do, people. Once God gives you that vision, it's up to you to move forward with it. Just the other day, when I took my daughter to get sneakers, we was in Manhattan, and I told her to hold my hand, and she asked why, and I said clearly, because people can bump you out here, and at the same time, daddy don't feel like getting mad, and at the same time, so like right after I said that, God bumped this next guy, and they both was with their families, but the guy who bumped him didn't even apologize. And I said to my daughter, you see what I'm saying? That white guy, he didn't even apologize to the Spanish man. And my daughter got mad for him. And I had to tell her that's not our business. But daddy's just making a point. And God just showed you that daddy's not lying. So this is what I mean also about trusting and putting your faith in him. He trusted me with the knowledge to tell that to my daughter and showed it to her right away. That's something that you guys have to do, is put your faith in God and not man. And that's something that my character Stefan did in Year of the Gentleman. I'm gonna say this to you all watching this here at Black Power Rise. You have options, people. You can sit around and wait for others. You can sit around and just sit back talking and waiting for opportunities, or you can move forward and know that you're gonna make mistakes while moving forward, but you gotta keep going. Everyone, I told you before with my first novel, how long it took, how many mistakes I made, even with this here, my clothing line. My boy Antoine, I didn't ask how to get started and stuff. I did research and I was doing it because I had just helped my godson with his clothing line. So I said, why not start one of my own and my daughter's. I'll put the link in the description also for that. On top of that, everyone, it's Fashion Week coming up. So I have new things to show people. On top of that, there's new stuff out there. But again, you have to get started somehow, everyone. You cannot sit around waiting for somebody to create success for you. I've always said this. You're the one who has to put in the work. You're the one who has to get started. You're the one who has to do the research. You're the one who's putting your faith into God. You're the one who's doing it for the next generation. You're the one who's doing it for yourself. Because when you do it for yourself, on top of that, and you see the success growing, you're gonna reward yourself. You're gonna pay yourself. You're gonna wanna do things more for yourself, for your family, for your friends. Excuse me, but I'm getting hyped. On top of that, even for your community, people, even those around you, you can inspire people. That's something my character Stefan did. Just read that book, Year of the Gentleman. On top of that, you have Year of the Gentleman 2 that I'm going to be writing. So don't think I'm just stopping just because I wrote 12 novels. I love doing what I'm doing. On top of that, I love helping others and inspiring others out here, people. So let me tell y'all again about my character in Year of the Gentleman, Stefan. He didn't start Real Creations because life was easy. He started it because he was tired of waiting on people, waiting on man. Again, I've said it in the beginning of this video, do not rely on man, rely on God. But Stefan, just like myself, he didn't start Real Creations, just like when I started Black Power Publishing. Because I started it because I was frustrated, because I was tired of the layoffs. I had got laid off. So I said, F this, I'm gonna start my publishing company. I used all the money in my savings and published my first novel, which it took time, but at the same time, God rewarded me, because for a whole year and a half, while I was looking for jobs but wasn't getting it, I was living off of that, paying bills off that, helping my mother pay rent off of that. That's all the book sales at that time. Now it's so much easier, but at the same time, let me get back to Stefan. So he created opportunity for himself and others. He got started with himself because, again, you have to be the one to get started. You have to be the one to start that blueprint, people. When it comes to your success, it's your journey. People, Stefan in Year of the Gentleman, he trusted God because it was faith over fear, people. That's something you have to do. You have to get that willpower inside of you. And again, you're gonna make mistakes, but you gotta trust the process, people. So, trust God. Believe me, it helps. Trust God and not man, everyone. It says it in Psalms 118:8. And this is one that I remember. This is why I just came up with that about trusting God and not man, because that's what it says in the Bible. And that hit me when I read that. That was something that inspired me, and as always, I'm sharing it with you all out here at Black Power Rise, because it makes sense. On top of that, we can use the Bible to even the present day, everyone. That's something most of us don't even realize or not aware of. That's one thing I like to do, even in my stage plays, is, open people's eyes up. And by the way, I have so many projects coming up. On top of that, one at a time. And my next stage play, everyone, is gonna be a blast. Yes, there's Mother Love Says Prayer Changes Things, but there's 2 more new ones coming out on top of that. And I'll be putting a casting call out for that. So back to what I was saying about Psalms 118, verse 8. That's one I had to repeat. That's one I had to repeat like 5 times for me to remember it. Trusting in the Lord and not man. So back to what I was saying about Psalms 118, everyone. It's one that I memorized because I had to read it about 5 to 10 times for me to remember it. And it's trust in the Lord and do not put your confidence in man. As I said, that hit me, people. And this is why I said, do not trust man. Go to God, people. On top of that, again, back to Stephon. And then it's not just Stephon, his brother Bruce. Amazing, great read. Again, I'll put the link in the description, everyone. For everyone out there, you know how you always have doubters. And remember, in my previous video, I talked about people will put their fears on you, saying that you can't do this. People doubted Stephon also. But again, he had a vision. He had a goal. He had a mindset. And that's something you have to have, everyone, for you to be successful, for you to get to that journey that you're on, for you to get to really where you want to be. You have to have that mindset and that will of never giving up, everyone. You got to say yourself no excuses. You got to eliminate distractions. It's so much that comes along with that. You know, it's like a baby walking. It takes time. It's like you learning to drive. It takes time for you to master your craft, for you to master that success that you're on, for you to master that successful journey that you really want to be on, everyone. And you gotta eliminate distractions. You gotta have faith. You gotta stay strong, people, because Satan is always bringing people around to distract you. The enemy's always watching. Remember, just because God knows our hearts, Satan knows our hearts also, people. Remember, he's a fallen angel. But again, when those evil spirits come around, you gotta brush them off, people. And again, it's your boy Kasim here at Black Power Rise. So, let me tell you guys, if you're waiting on people to approve your vision, to approve of you getting started in whatever it is you want to do, you will never get started. If you there sitting back waiting for someone to say, oh, you can do this, but you should do it this way, you will never get started, because you'll be too busy listening to what they say. You'll be too busy wind up putting doubts in yourself. When God gave you the vision, when God gave you the idea to get started, it's up to you to do that, people. It's up to you to show others and yourself and show God that you really want this. You have to have that willpower in you, people. Again, don't trust man, trust God. And this is something that I learned, so I'm talking from experience, which I always had that attitude, I'm gonna do this. I always had that attitude. I remember talking to my cousin Sylvia, I think it was about a year and a half ago, when I spoke to her. She had told me, you know, I remember when you was in high school and you came to visit here, and you always said that you was gonna start a business. I completely forgot that I told her that. But she didn't, because she seen the success that I've been having. She seen what I've been doing. On top of that, shout out to you, Sylvia. Shout out to my whole family. Shout out to my friends. Everyone, love you all. And for those that don't know, hit that like and subscribe button here at Black Power Rise. Back to what I'm saying. You gotta put your trust in God, people. Trust him when the money is short. Trust him when the money gets long. Trust him when you get started on that journey. Trust him when you lose a loved one, everyone. Yes, you're gonna mourn, but at the same time, don't forget scriptures like Acts 24:15, where it talks about God promised us a resurrection. So you're gonna see your loved ones again. Because that's one thing I had to learn, people. We all gonna die. We all gonna get sick. We're all gonna grow old. You know, at the same time, always trust in the Lord. He's our Father, everyone. He's a Father that doesn't lie. Satan's the ones that lies. He's the father of lies, people. So trust the process. You know, Another reason why I mentioned trust God, everyone, because if he gave you that vision, he's already prepared you for the provision. So again, you have to move forward, people. Family, as I always keep it real with you guys, you know, success isn't microwave. It's a slow process. Unless you're born into wealth, unless you're born with money, which most of us are not, because when we come out of our mother's womb, you know, learning to walk is a journey. So growing, whatever it is you're doing, as I always say, long as it's legal, bless you. But what I'm saying is, you have to trust that process. A baby is taught things. This is why I say you're gonna make mistakes. You know, a baby doesn't walk right away. You may see them fall. And then you hold their hand because you want them to walk with you side by side. And that's something God does for us, everyone. You know, my character, Stefan, just like myself, when I started Black Power Publishing, creations and production, you know, Stefan worked in silence just like I did. Because I eliminated distractions, and that's what he did also. But he built real creations, you know, brick by brick. And then eventually got a team. Again, you gotta read the book, everyone, Year of the Gentleman. And so you'll know what's gonna be happening in Year of the Gentleman too. Based what I'm saying, you'll understand the characters that's in it. And then there's gonna be new characters as well. But as well as my next novel, True Brothers Back in the Game. Then you got another one that I have, Hood Lover 2, everyone. It's your boy Kasim here at Black Power Rise. So what I'm saying is, people, again, trust that process and go, go, go. You know, there's something my mother always said to me, that's to keep fighting. You know, when the enemy comes, attacks you, you know, you have people that'll throw dirt on your name. You gotta keep fighting. Just like all of a sudden I asked my boy Dave just yesterday, why all of a sudden people are attacking the late Kobe Bryant? Where was this when he was alive? Let that man sleep in peace, people. But again, he reminded me, God, they just hating. What's the hate on? He inspired so many people, and that's something even Jesus did. But I had to, and now that I'm saying that, I have to look. People were even hating on Jesus, even when they seen that he was inspiring people. So, who am I to get mad because they're hating on Kobe? I say that to say this: you're gonna have people that talk about you, about your success. You're gonna have people that try to put doubts in your mind, everyone. You're gonna have people that put doubts in your thoughts. But to me, this is why you kill them in silence. Something my late grandmother always said to my brother and cousin. Let me remind you something, family. When you're going through things and things happen out of nowhere, that's God building you for something bigger. At the same time, when you keep fighting and keep going, not letting distractions happen, because you know I always say life happens, everyone. But that shows God that you're being disciplined. You're being disciplined enough to trust his process. You're disciplined enough to keep fighting and keep going for that success that you want. Because it's part of the journey, everyone. Remember, I said it's a slow process. And you have to build and build and build. Especially when you really want to build something that's going to last. Because anything that comes to you easy, most of the time it's not going to last. On top of that, I want you guys to remember, let's say Romans 5, 3, and 4, where it talks about building character, building that strength. But you got to suffer first. On top of that, I want you guys to really put trust in God and the vision that He has for you. Because when you keep going and you trust in that process and the journey that you're on, you're going to love the reward that God has for you. Again, I didn't see myself, when my daughter was born, I didn't even think of a clothing line for her. But it happened. I didn't think of her being an author, having her own coloring book, and I'll put the link in the description for that also. But it happened, people. Again, I love inspiring all my people here at Black Power Rise. You know, my goal, one of my goals this year is to get more and more subscribers here at Black Power Rise. So please hit that like and subscribe button. On top of that, this book again, Year of the Gentleman. Remember I said, y'all, when you trust the process, it builds discipline. You showing God that you are disciplined. You showing God that you really want what it is you're after. On top of that, I want you guys to remember, process builds wisdom, people. Wisdom builds strength. Strength builds confidence, everyone. The more confident you are in your successful journey, the more you're going to be able to produce. That's something I just had to tell you guys here at Black Power Rise. Just think of Joseph, everyone. And I'm not talking about Jesus' father Joseph. I'm talking about Joseph from Genesis. Remember, he was sold as a slave, people. A slave. But he trusted the process. He trusted, his faith was so strong. And he still got to lead a nation. That's saying something, people. That's God telling you to trust Him and trust the process. Remember everything that I'm saying here. If you don't remember what I'm saying, write it down, people. I do it at times. When it's someone speaking or someone who I like to hear, I do it. Trust the process, everyone. God wants you to put His faith in Him. You have to be willing. You have to come to Him, everyone. It's like a baby going to their parents. You know, you have kids when they're born, when they definitely start walking, they come to you for things, ask you for advice. You're that one who they look up to. And that's what God wants us from us. That's what He's waiting for, people. And He's always has His hand out. It's your boy Kasim here at Black Power Rise. No, that's the same thing from my character Stefan from Year of the Gentleman, people. He didn't despise the process. He trusted it. Because he had that vision. He had that faith. Again, people, don't despise the process that God has for you. Because it's building you up for what He has in store for you. Now that you guys heard about my character Stefan from Year of the Gentleman, let me talk to the kids out there, meaning the teenagers, the young adults out there, the older adults, even those older than me, even the grandparents out there. So first, to the children out there, again, this is for the young kids, even teenagers. Don't let anyone out there, don't let no teacher, don't let no older adult tell you your dreams are too big, because they're not. Remember, God created you for a purpose. Remember, we are all born with gifts out here. It's up to you to discover that gift. Then, to the young adults out there, remember, this is your season. Remember, This is your season. Trust the process. Yes, you may start off slow. Yes, it may be difficult at first. Yes, it may be hard, but you cannot give up. You got to get started somehow. It's just like you learning to ride a bike. You might have started on training wheels. I know I did. But then I learned to ride. On top of that, you have to get started, people. So for you young adults out there, trust the process. To the elders out there, to all the elders out there, to those thinking that they're too old to be successful, too old to get a GED, too old to go out there and do something to inspire those for the next generation. Know it is never too late. Know that you have the wisdom out there, you have the knowledge out there to inspire others. Know that you are an icon. What I mean by that, you may be an icon to the younger grandkids in your family. You may be an icon to your great-grandchildren and don't even realize it. You may be an icon to people that's in your community and don't even realize it. Know your wisdom matters. You have to realize that. Just because things didn't happen the way you wanted to when you were younger, and at the same time, speaking of younger, you have to be able to forgive your younger self. Don't be mad at the mistakes you made when you were younger. It's where you are in the present now. Know that your wisdom matters, everyone. I'm talking to all the older people out there. I'm talking to even the younger ones. But at the same time, this here is for those with the wisdom and the knowledge to pass it on to others. That's something my mentor Wyatt told me, and to this day still tells me. So that's something I'm doing for you guys, because that's something that I always did even before I met Wyatt. So again, it's your boy Kasim here at Black Power Rise. You see these two men on this shirt here, Martin Luther King and Malcolm X? They had wisdom, people. They had vision. They had faith in what they were doing. On top of that, they knew that they had a mission to carry. They knew that they had process to make. So that's something you gotta do, people. Again, for you elders out there, know that your wisdom matters. You have knowledge to pass on to others. And then the next generation, they're gonna pass it on when they get your age, if they make it to your age. Especially in times like this now, I love seeing when a community gets together. I love seeing black people, rise together. On top of that, it inspires other people. It inspires other generations out here to come. This is something God wanted, people. You have to remember that. So again, you elders, know your wisdom matters. Back when I wrote my 4th book, Year of the Gentleman, I was already thinking of inspiring other people. I didn't even have my clothing line yet. And that's gonna be another one that comes out. But the character Stefan, when I was writing it, I was thinking about other people. How can I inspire others to, not give up? So he became an entrepreneur, because that's something that I love. And Stefan, I wanted him to be an inspiring character for the younger generation to come. Mind you, that was my 4th novel, everyone. So once you get started on that first one, God's gonna bless you and bless you more. Remember, you have to get started, and that's something Stefan did. So I say that to let you guys know You have to get started somehow. And trust God, people. Yes, I'm gonna keep saying it. You have to have that faith to get started. You have to have that vision, that mindset, that will. You have to be committed, everyone. And most importantly, be disciplined. And another important thing, be focused. That's like the main thing. You have to be focused. You know, when I was laid off from the law firm, I was focused on my publishing company of Black Power Publishing. You know, when Stefan was laid off from corporate America, he was focused on Real Creations and helping others and inspire others with his clothing. Just like I do with Black Power Creations, people. So, again, it's your boy Kasim here at Black Power Rise. Because this is something that I had to learn. When you trust God, when you trust the process, when you trust others that's around you. Yes, I said in the beginning of this video not to rely on man, but I didn't tell you guys in this video. God's gonna surround you around the right people to inspire you and help you keep going. That's something I said in a previous video, and that's something I'm gonna remind you. And for those watching for the first time, I'm letting you know God's gonna bring you around the right people for you to keep going, for you to even elevate you, to really elevate you, everyone. This is why I just said in this video, trust the process. You know, in this video, you guys have heard me talk about trusting the process and trusting God, but I also want you guys to trust the vision. You know, you have to trust your own vision, people. You have to be the one to see it. You have to be the one to move forward on that successful journey. Because when you're on it, at times you may be alone. If you started with somebody, that's a blessing. What I mean by that, just look at the people who created Superman. Joe Simon and Jerry Siegel. You know, look at them. They were turned down by many publications. But there were one publication that took a chance on them. And look how big Superman is to this day, everyone. My mother wasn't even born yet. And to this day, he inspires people. So you have to be the one to see that vision, people. And that's something I just threw out there. You have to be the one to see your vision. You have to be the one to be disciplined, people. You have to be the one who wants that success. You have to be hungry for the success that you want, everyone. And never take your eyes off your Father in heaven. Never forget that. You know, another thing I want to share with you guys. I had to take that deep breath. The reason why? Because you've heard me talk about trusting God, trusting the process, you know, trusting the vision. Your kids are gonna thank you for not giving up. Your grandkids are gonna thank you for not giving up. You know, they rely on you so much, and you have to show them to be independent and let them know they can always come to you. I say that to say this, people. That's something God wants. Why? Because He's our Father in heaven, everyone. I don't want you guys ever forgetting that here at Black Power Rise. You know, we rise together. A community that works together will rise together. That's just me saying that, people. You don't believe me? Watch what I put together in the film that I'm working on. On top of that, you see it in some of these communities, and I'm talking from experience, people. So if you guys made it this far in the video, thank you. On top of that, again, hit that like and subscribe button. Share with your friends and family. And in the comments, put, I trust God. And leave comments, people. Again, share with your friends and family. It's your boy Kasim here at Black Power Rise.